How does VW's latest all-electric vehicle, the ID.3, compare to Tesla's Model 3? I'm Jonathan Stewart, and welcome to Cleanerwatt. Just a few days ago, VW put out a press release on July 13th declaring that the ID.3 sales were officially beginning on July 20th for non-reservation holders. Unfortunately, however, VW's new all-electric hatchback will not be available in the United States. Volkswagen is, of course, a very large auto manufacturer based in Germany. They currently have a few electric vehicles available, including the e-Golf that is available both internationally and here in the United States. But that vehicle has a very low amount of range compared to their new all-electric vehicle, the ID.3. In my opinion, the ID.3 is a very attractive looking vehicle. It's very practical with a hatchback, and it's decently affordable, so it should sell really well. Tesla's more affordable sedan, the Model 3, has been very popular both in the United States and in Europe, and I want to compare the Tesla Model 3 to the new ID.3 now that we have a lot more details in the ID.3 and now that you can actually order them if you're in Europe. To start off this comparison, let's talk about the purchase prices of these vehicles and see how they compare. According to the Volkswagen website and also the recent press release, they are launching the ID.3 in 7 different variants. The first 6 variants will include a 58 kilowatt-hour battery, and they will also offer a Pro S Tour model with a 77 kilowatt-hour battery. Each one of these trim levels, Life, Style, Business, Family, Tech, Max, and Tour, have pre-selected configurations for these vehicles to match various life and technology requirements for the end user. In the future, VW does plan to offer a couple cheaper variants of the ID.3 with a smaller battery pack or with less features pre-selected. But for now, the lowest price, according to German prices, is 37,788 euros. That's including VAT tax, but does not yet include any of the incentives that we'll talk about in a minute. The range, according to the WLTP standard for the 58 kilowatt-hour battery, slightly varies among each of these variants, but on average is somewhere around 420 kilometers or 260 plus miles. The longest range and most expensive variant, the Pro S Tour, has a price right now in Germany before incentives of 48,432 euros and should have a range, according to the WLTP standard, of 542 kilometers or around 337 miles. I have added US prices here just for comparison's sake. Although the ID.3, as mentioned earlier, is not available in the United States, this is according to the current conversion rate from the euro to the US dollar. The Tesla Model 3 is currently available in 3 different variants: the Standard Range Plus, the Long Range All-Wheel Drive, and also the Performance variant. The European price of the Model 3 does vary by country, but if we compare the prices in Germany, right now the Model 3 Standard Range Plus is around 42,900 euros, the Long Range All-Wheel Drive variant is around 52,000 euros, and the Performance variant is right around 58,000 euros. These prices are from Tesla's German website, and Tesla does include the VAT tax and also subtracts automatically the $3,000 environmental bonus. We'll talk more about incentives in just a few minutes. As I've done in previous vehicle comparisons, I want to choose one variant of the Model 3 that closely matches a variant of the ID.3, and I want to use that for the rest of this video's comparisons. So for this video, we're choosing the Model 3 Standard Range Plus with the MSRP in Germany, as we mentioned, of 42,900 euros. And we're going to compare that to a similarly equipped ID.3 Pro Performance model in the Tech trim level that has an MSRP of just around 40,200 euros, and that includes the incentives subtracted like Tesla automatically does on their website. So when it comes to the basic purchase price of these vehicles, the VW ID.3 with similar trim and similar range is slightly cheaper, at least when it comes to European pricing. The German government will kick in an additional 6,000 euros that you can apply for after you purchase the vehicle. Both the Tesla Model 3 and the ID.3 qualify for these rebates. Now that we've compared the purchase price and seen that the ID.3 is slightly less expensive for a similar vehicle, let's take a look at the range and efficiency of these vehicles and see which one does better. According to the WLTP standard, the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus has a range of somewhere around 409 kilometers or 254 miles. According to that same WLTP standard, the ID.3 in the tech trim level should have a range of around 419 kilometers or 260 miles. However, when it comes to the actual true range estimates for these vehicles, according to the EV database, they peg the Model 3 Standard Range Plus true range around 310 kilometers or 190 miles, and they're estimating that the ID.3, because of its larger battery, will have a true range of around 340 kilometers or 210 miles. So the ID.3 will have a little bit more range, but when it comes to the actual efficiency, the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus will be more efficient as a vehicle. However, since the ID.3 has a larger battery pack, it is still able to achieve a slightly better range than the Model 3 Standard Range Plus. Now let's talk about the performance comparisons between these vehicles. Of course, the ID.3 is not necessarily made to be a performance vehicle. It can go 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, which equals 0 to 62 miles per hour in around 7.3 seconds, compared to the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus, which can go 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.6 seconds. As you can see, the Model 3 Standard Range Plus top speed is also much higher than the ID.3 as well. So when it comes to performance, Tesla's Model 3 wins this category very easily. Another important aspect to consider is, of course, the technology and the features built into each of these vehicles. According to VW's website, at the tech trim level, their vehicle includes their basic driver's assist features, similar to what is offered in the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. It offers heated front seats, voice controls, a panoramic glass roof, GPS navigation, a heads-up display, and will also include over-the-air software updates. All these are included in the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, with the exception of a heads-up display that is not available in the Model 3. So when you look at the basic features offered in these vehicles, they are very comparable at these trim levels. However, when it comes to software, the Tesla Model 3 is going to be much better in that category. And don't just take my word for it. The former Volkswagen CEO, HERBERT said, quote, "In the long run, I think we might have a bit of an advantage because of scale," talking about Tesla here. On the hardware side, there is probably not so big a difference because they, Tesla, also have a dedicated electric platform, and they're quite big already for an EV manufacturer. But when it comes to the next big thing, which is software, Tesla is strong in software. VW has been struggling to get the software right in their new vehicles, and this 2019 Autoblog article pointed this out. Volkswagen, however, even this year is still struggling with their software issues. Electrive put out an article on March 26th talking about this, and Inside EVs put out an article around a similar time talking about this as well, saying, Volkswagen ID.3 software problems, it's no longer a laughing matter. With all these issues that VW is having, the first vehicles that they actually deliver will not have all the features available, but they will have to do a later software update to those vehicles to make all the features available. Where VW has struggled trying to get their software to work properly, Tesla has excelled in software. Tesla is constantly adding new updates to their vehicles that make them more useful and better vehicles, and they actually get somewhat better with age. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that the Model 3 technology and software is far superior, at least right now, to what VW is offering and will offer in the ID.3. Now let's take a look at another important comparison, and that is the cargo space available in each of these vehicles. Now do note that the cargo spaces listed here are with the seats not folded down. Of course, the seats do fold down in each of these vehicles, but we don't have any official cargo space numbers for that. So for this example, we're just going to include the seats folded up, the normal trunk space of these vehicles. Although the ID.3 does not have a front trunk or a frunk, it does have a slightly larger rear trunk space than the Model 3. But if you add the frunk or the front trunk space for the Model 3, although the back trunk is smaller on the Model 3, The total enclosed cargo space for the Model 3 is slightly better at around 1.4 cubic feet or 40 liters more space. Another important comparison that needs to be looked at is the charging speed of each of these vehicles. The Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus, when charging, can accept up to 170 kilowatts. And according to the EV database, it can go from 10% state of charge to an 80% state of charge in around 20 minutes, meaning according to the WLTP standard, that would add 286.3 kilometers or 177.9 miles. The ID.3 max charge rate is somewhere around 100 kilowatts, and it can go from a 10% state of charge to an 80% state of charge in around 30 minutes. This adds 296.8 kilometers or 184.4 miles. In order to get a really accurate comparison though, we need to look at how many kilometers or how many miles are added per minute of charging to see which one is actually faster. As you can see there, if you average it all out, during that 20 minutes of charging for the Model 3, you should add about 14 kilometers per minute or 9 miles per minute. In the 30-minute charge session, the ID.3 should average around 10 kilometers per minute or 6 miles per minute. So Tesla's Model 3 does add more miles or more kilometers per minute, so thus it has a faster charging speed in practical use. Also, as we've mentioned in previous videos, Tesla's vehicles have access to their supercharging network, which is very robust and has very affordable rates throughout the world. Volkswagen has made some steps to make charging a little more affordable and a little easier for their owners with what they're calling WeCharge. At the highest of their 3 tiers, VW will offer a discounted rate for Ionity chargers of around 29 euro cents per kilowatt hour if you pay 9.73 euros per month, and this is guaranteed for 3 years. For customers that choose not to pay this monthly fee, they will be charged right around 53 euro cents per kilowatt hour at these Ionity chargers. The Ionity charging network is growing very quickly in Europe, and it is a good charging network, but Teslas also have access to this network as well, whereas the ID.3 does not have access to Tesla's supercharging network, so driving a Tesla in Europe is still more convenient when it comes to finding charging locations. Now let's compare the driver's assist safety features and the future autonomous features built into each of these vehicles. With Tesla's basic autopilot included in the price of each of their vehicles, the vehicle will steer on the highway, keep itself in its lane, it has traffic-aware cruise control, and it also has emergency braking to potentially keep you out of an accident. The Euro NCAP has rated the Tesla Model 3 with a 94% safety assist score, and that is one of the highest ratings they've ever given any car in this category. And while the ID.3 has not yet been tested by the Euro NCAP, they did test a recent VW Golf model, and they gave it a safety assist score of 78%. So once again, with the best data that we have, I believe it's very safe to assume that the basic safety assist features built into the Model 3 will be superior to that offered in the ID.3. When it comes to the future and full autonomy for electric vehicles, the Tesla Model 3 comes with all the hardware necessary for full self-driving. And with a future software update, this vehicle should be capable of full self-driving. Volkswagen does not currently equip the ID.3 with all the hardware that will be necessary for full self-driving. However, they are working on autonomous vehicles and full self-driving vehicles with their partnership through Argo. The very last aspect I'd like to compare for each of these vehicles before we dive into the summary is the fit and finish comparison between the ID.3 and the Tesla Model 3. Ironically, where Tesla has excelled in performance and features and also in technology and software, they still haven't completely mastered the art of fit and finish. There are still reports of paint issues and other small little issues that have to be fixed after the fact. And of course, Tesla is very good about fixing these little issues, but it is kind of annoying as an owner when you have to take a brand new car to a service center and get them fixed. However, even with some of these fit and finish issues, the overall experience of owning the Tesla and all that's built into the Tesla makes up for this, and Tesla is generally very good about fixing these issues. When it comes to the fit and finish of the Volkswagen ID.3, I have no doubt that Volkswagen will excel at this. It will have a very good build quality, especially the ones coming out of Germany, and I believe that it will excel in that area where Tesla doesn't do quite as well. So now that we've gone through all these comparison categories, let's look at a basic summary of these vehicles and see which one did better in each of these categories. When it comes to the purchase price for a similarly equipped ID.3, it is slightly less expensive than the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. So Volkswagen got the win on that category. When it comes to range and efficiency, I gave both Tesla and VW the point on this one because the VW ID.3 has slightly more range, but the Tesla Model 3 has a better efficiency rating. Tesla, of course, very easily wins the performance category. They easily win the technology and the features because of their software and the technology built into their vehicles. And when it comes to cargo space, I gave both Tesla and VW a point on this one because although the total cargo space for the Tesla is greater, the actual back trunk is larger on the VW, and I do believe that one larger usable space might be more useful than two smaller spaces. When it comes to the driver's assist safety features and future autonomy, of course Tesla gets the win there. But when it comes to the fit and finish of the vehicles, I believe that the VW ID.3 will be better than the Model 3. So that gives us a final score of Tesla 5, VW 4. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something as well. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, if you click the bell icon, you'll be notified when new videos are published. Also, if you did like the video, please consider clicking that like button and also consider sharing it out on social media. I also wanted to take a moment to thank the Patreon supporters which support me every month and help me bring this content to you. If you'd like to find out more about the Patreon community that I've set up, you can find a link in the description below. Thank you so much.